Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to play with an EEPROM programmer, and it seems to be very popular because it can also program a lot of old ones, and the database is quite big, it should be, and it is the GQ 4x4, this one, and I think it's from ECU Electronics or something. I will put a link. I found it on Amazon this time because I was looking also in the AliExpress, and I think few of those stores are completely confused with the conversion rate to dollars or euros because that didn't make sense. So I looked later to Amazon. I will put both links so you can have a look. But the cool thing is it should be able to program all the old ones. And it even comes with a huge adapter, so it can even do very large ones. So I wonder if it works, and I have seen this on videos from other people because they were reading the Dallas chips, the NVRAMs, and I have a problem with my Tektronix because the other time I was showing you how you can make a backup through the GPIB, and how you can do that with the tech tool, and I made a copy and it all seemed to work, and then I got a little bit over enthusiastic and I programmed in completely the wrong firmware, but that doesn't matter because I had the backup. But restoring it, I got a lot of write errors and the Dallas shit really gave up. And yeah, that's quite normal after so many years. So I found a replacement. I will make another video about that, how I replaced that. But I found it in eBay from Texas. I think it's David. Kelly Joe 13 is his store. I will also link to that in that video when I start replacing it. But I want to read them first, because when I bought them, you can just say, okay, what's your type, what's your model, and which options do you have, and he will just program them for you. So it should have the good code in here, so this would be perfect to test this one. Can it read Dallas chips? It is not a Dallas chips, but it acts like a Dallas chip. So if I can read these, that is proof enough for me. And then later when I start desoldering, here is my Tektronix, it's the TDS 744A. And when I start replacing those NVRAMs, I will also try to read them, and then maybe we can do a compare. So let's have a look at the programmer. Oh, and if you think, I thought you already had the programmer, you had the TL, what is it, 8662 plus, also full of adapters. But this one, his database is not that big, but there is a reason for that. That is because it only programs up to 18 volts. So the older chips that need 25, 21 or even 29, you can't program it with this one. So this is great for newer chips. It can do a lot. You can watch my video about that. But because of the Dallas chips, I really needed this 4x4, and it really seems, I see it with so many people playing with the Tektronix oscilloscopes. So I thought, okay, I'm going to have a try. So if you are still in a choice, do I buy the TL8662 Plus or maybe the GQ 4x4? Stay tuned. So very quick unboxing. Usually I get my stuff from AliExpress or Banggood, but mostly Ali. But yeah, the prices were not good, so I decided to have a look in Amazon. The GQ USB programmer 4x4, and sometimes it's also the GQ4 version 4, but here it is 4x4. And I've got an extra extension, so it can also do the 27C 4069, the 4002, and well, these are the bigger chips. And well, it just was shit nice, honestly. Here is the extra module that you just can click into the programmer, and then you can see you can do a lot more with it. Even this. And nice kit. I wonder, I hope it comes with software, or at least with the download link. Well, it looks real, to be honest. This is the GQ4X V4 here, it's what I meant. And sometimes it's called a 4x4. Let me zoom in on that. So you can search for one of these models. And well, I need to download all the software. It's on the sticker. That's good. Let me just open it. Can I? Yeah. So it is really new. So software download. Okay, it's well explained. It seems to come really from the official company, the MCU MAOO. So let's have a look at that on the computer. How does this work? You just put the extension board in here and you lock it, and then you can set the jumper. I'm not sure if that is for the voltage or to switch over from this one to this one. So I have to look at that. Here there is some extra addresses, or you can also plug in something here to program with another extension board. So I have to look into that, but I thought if I buy it, just get me as full options as possible. So I did. That looks nice. You can even optional power it with external. It's from Canada. MCU Mall Electronics. It seems all very official. I think I bought it even in the MCU store. Okay, let's try to install the software. We first need to download the driver. We have here the driver. It's for the V4. We have the V4. I have 64 bits, 10 or 11. I can do either of these. I will just do this one. And we need the application itself. It's not that new, but I have done a few updates. That is good. So it's 729. Download also. Okay. Then we also have the manual. Okay. Good, that is there, that is there. So, what we need to do? All the versions. Go to this website, we did that. The software can be installed before connecting. Okay, let's do that. This is the driver. Well, extract. I'm in my download folder. Okay, that is done. It said something. Let's do by date. Here is my driver. Is there an application? Yes. Yes, we want that. Completed. Okay, then we can plug in. Let me change the camera to point. Okay, let's have a look. I will plug it in. In this side, I will open the device manager just to be sure, so we know what's going on. If we can see that something is added or not. So now we plug it into the PC. Yes, it beeps, beep beep, and I don't see anything, but I also don't see an error. That went very fast. Yeah, maybe it's here. Yeah, here, EEPROM device, Cypress, EEPROM device. Okay, well, I did see something and I don't see any error messages, so we just continue. I also have my application, the 729, yes. So let's start that. Well, we're still gonna run it anyway. I have my antivirus there, so install. but we don't see much happening on the device itself. That was all very fast. Initializing. Bloop. Yes, here it is. It's already connected. That went very fast. It is also checking if there is new software, and there is not, so I think we are all good to go. Okay, let's see if I can read one of those chips. Device. I don't see MVRAM, so it's probably SRAM. Dallas. Yes, all the Dallas chips are here. 12. And the 16 even. Okay, and the 1245, I think. Yeah, okay, the one that we need is the 1650Y or the 1250Y. And that is where the firmware is in. And we also have one that is the 1486, but I don't see it. But we should also be able to use the 1245. And the 1245, the only thing is, I think it doesn't have a real-time clock, so you need to offset it from hex D, but that's okay. Okay, let's try the 1650. Okay, well, I only need to do a read, so I will deselect these right now. Now let's put in the chip. Okay, and here we should see then the difference between the clock and the, yeah, this is almost empty. So this one is the real-time clock, and then the first few should change all the time. It says here 0.2. So if I read again, yeah, it says now something else. Okay, so this chip is the real-time clock. And another thing that is great with this device is here, if we select, the database is huge, but if we want the older stuff, the older EEPROMs here, it can even do the 2716, 25 volts, 21 volts. Here another one, the 2732. So if you are in this old retro consoles and stuff, all these EEPROMs here, you can still program. As you can see, if you use the TL866, that is limited to 18 volts. So this one you would not be able to program. This one you will not be able to program. I have seen modifications of it, but of course without modification is more easy. Here 25 volts as well. Cool. All these old ones are here. And even you can request, if you have a chip that is not here yet, you can just do a, how does that work? Oh, part number, datasheet application. Cool. And they will just add it in a next version. I like it. Looks cool. For me the whole thing was that I could read the Dallas chips, but if you are interested in a lot more, look at this. There is a device list there. It is huge. It supports so many chips, and they keep working on it, they say here on the bottom. And if I look here in the top, for some of these EEPROMs you need this 16-bit adapter, and that is that extra board that I have. So here we have the extension board. It's the ADP054. We saw that in the documentation, and this gives you the 16-bit, I think it said. Not sure. Here, extra chips go in here. This one is a little bit bigger than necessary because I saw the last pins are not connected, and it says here also you need to leave the last few pins empty. Here you can have another switch also if you want to do the 27322. You need to switch it over. Here's another jumper, and you can make it listen to version 3 or version 4. I didn't find out why that is, but probably if I run into something, at least I know I can switch it over. So that was a real quick test. I was mostly interested if I could read the Dallas chips, and they were in the database, and I was able to do that. Well, I actually read the Dallas replacement chips, but that didn't seem to be a problem. I'm a little bit scared programming them, because first I want to see that the Tektronix scope is working. So next time I will, one of my next videos, I will remove the Dallas chips from the Tektronix. These replacement chips also came with very nice high quality sockets, so I will put it on sockets, and then let's see if I can read the real Dallas chips. But yeah, they are broken because the scope is now bricked. So hopefully the replacements will give me will fix that. So yeah, installation process was really easy. Just clicking on the driver, installing it automatically, plug in the USB, and it didn't have any problems. It just recognized it immediately, and the versions are still kind of maintained. It was only 2 years ago I saw was the latest version. And but I'm not sure, because when you start a program it also says checking if the latest firmware is still there, and maybe they also keep the list of chips, and you can do your request if a chip is missing. So I like that. So that makes it very valuable. I didn't write to any EEPROMs. Maybe another time I will try to write one of my very old 2716s or 2732 just to see if it writes. But if it doesn't, I still have my very old Polish programmer also for these high voltages. Main thing for me was the Dallas chips to finish my project. Well, thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time.